Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Ich bin Alphonsine. Today we are coming to talk about what you have to do in advance before you go to the embassy. I already told you in my previous videos, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and watch the videos. That it will be better for you to do the German course before you even start applying for the school. Now, if you do the German class and you get 80%, okay, or 80% and above, it is good for you because before you book an appointment, when you check the appointment categories, we have a couple of categories that the embassy has actually put in place for uh, different people, right? So, for instance, category A is for PhD students or master students with scholarship or people with first class or people who have done the German course and have had 80% and above, right? Category B are for students who have second class. If you are not a first class student, and you do the language course and get 80% or above, it's better for you because when you are going to book the appointment, then this category has a lot of slots enough for you. So at any point in time, you can book the appointment ahead. So you'll be at an advantage, right? Unlike the category B students, for their slots are very scarce for them to book, right? So for students in category B who haven't done the German class are a little bit disadvantaged because if they don't do the German class and they are ready to go and book, the slot will not be available until maybe July, July of a particular year or August. And meanwhile, the schools in Germany reopen in October. And when you're applying for the visa, you have to give the embassy a minimum of 3 months for them to process your application because you cannot stress the embassy. All right. So if you put yourself in that situation, if you don't take steps to prepare yourself in advance and get the slot ahead of time, then it means that you are lagging behind, and then it will get to a point where everything will be stressed for you. So these people in particular write to the school back that the embassy has delayed in processing their visa and that they didn't get an appointment early, and they give like excuses so that the school will extend the reopening dates for them. Okay, but not all schools do that. If you are fortunate and you talk to your course coordinator, which is your university in Germany here, if you talk to your course coordinator, he can just write something for you to extend the reopening date so that the embassy will take that into consideration to grant you your visa. Other than that, if you do not get that extension from your course coordinator, then the embassy can base on this particular criteria that you didn't submit your documents well in advance for them to process it, so they can deny you, right? So if you are a second class student, whether upper or lower, please, I encourage you to do it's just A1, to do the German course, A1. When you get 80% on above, you can just be sure, rest assured that, okay, so at any particular time, I can just book for category A. When I book for category A, I can submit my documents in advance so that the embassy will get ample time to process my documents, right? So it will not go against you, right? So what are some of the documents you need to send to the embassy? When you go to the embassy's website, it tells you exactly what you are supposed to submit, right? the embassy wants you to fill the complete application form. And then, mind you, you have to send 2 copies of each document they are requesting. All right, you sign a declaration form. All these forms are found on the embassy's website, right? You take 2 recent passport size photographs. Your visa application fee is 75 euros. So you pay it in equivalent in your currency, right? So then again, your passport. So you take the passport itself, and then you run a copy in addition. Your birth certificate. So all these documents should be in original form, and then a copy as well, right? If you are married, you take your marriage certificate along. Then, as I said, proof of sufficient knowledge of German, okay? It is good for you, right? So if you have a certificate from Goethe Institute, then you can just hand that one to them. You take also your WIEC certificate, right? And your university transcript, the university certificate itself, the transcript, and your English proficiency as well as maybe if um, you have done any internship, or your national service certificate, okay, is also included. And you have to also add your CV, right? And then your letter of motivation. The letter of motivation should be in hand writing. You should use your hand to write the letter of motivation. And proof of financial means. Okay, so before, the embassy asks you to come with your sponsor. Okay, so if someone is sponsoring you, you just come with your sponsor. You just have a one-on-one interview with your sponsor, all right? So that they know whether indeed your sponsor wants to sponsor you financially. But now, if you have a sponsor, they are asking you to just transfer the money from your home country to Germany. Okay, so you would have opened a block account and then transfer the funds into the block account. When you do that, you just take a proof from Germany here and submit it to the embassy. And when you do that, that is not all, okay? The funds have really been transferred from his account to the block account here in Germany, okay? So they need proof of the transfer. Please, if you have relative here already in Germany, do not let your relative do the transfer, please, because they will look at the source of the fund. If the source of the fund states that the money is from Germany here, then it means that you will be giving false information to the embassy, right? So your sponsor has to transfer the fund, him or herself, so that they will see the proof of the transfer, right? That is another hint I would want to give you. And the sponsorship is 861 euros every month for 12 months. That is 1 year. So if you multiply 861 times 12, whatever you get should be also multiplied by your the exchange rate of your currency, okay, so that you know the total amount you are supposed to transfer from your home country to Germany. Okay. And so that is it. So these are some of the things the embassy require. Okay, so when you have all these things, and mind you, all these things should be submitted in 2 copies. But hey, if you get to the embassy, the receptionist there are the ones supposed to go through the document to see that all the documents are intact. Please, when you get to the embassy, be composed, be mentally strong, All right? Do not do things anyhow. Compose yourself, put all your documents together, and I advise you to run extra copies for yourself. The embassy is asking for 2 copies. I advise you to run 3 copies. Just keep one in your bag, all right, in case, because those of the receptionists to go through can stress you. They can take out some of the documents the visa officer will require just to stress you. Okay, so if you get to the visa officer and she tells you that you have to bring this document or this document is missing, then already you have the document with you which you can submit. Okay, because some of the receptionists there take off some of the documents. I don't know why, I don't know for which reason, and they get people stranded. So if you are not mentally composed, you end up being disappointed. They can really stress people at the embassy, and it is not a joke. So they can stress you to the extent that you'll be mentally stressed. And when you get to the visa officer and then he does the interview with you, then you will not be able to do anything. So please, when you get there, just be mentally composed. Okay? Yes. And these are some of the things you should know. Some questions across, yes, which the visa officer can ask you during the interview and how you should respond to them, right? Please just focus when you get in front of the visa officer. Just focus. The visa officer will initially take all your documents and go through. When she or he goes through, right, and then they see that some of the documents are missing, they will tell you to go and bring the missing documents. So when you bring the missing documents, then she will add everything together and then take the 75 euros. So when she takes the 75 euros, while she is processing the application fee, right, the interview will go on. Okay, whilst you are just in front of her, the interview will go on. All right, so you have to notice that. Okay, so what are some of the questions they can ask you? So they can ask you, why do you want to study in Germany? So with this question, you have to be very fast, right? For instance, if I were you, I would just say I would like to study in Germany because the educational system in Germany is very rigorous as compared to my home country. And apart from it being rigorous, yeah, it's very practical. And I hope I will gain practical experience, okay, and then come back and use it in my home country. Okay, so that is the answer to this question. Next question, why did you choose your specific program or course? So it depends on which program you chose. For instance, if you are an environmental scientist or if you chose natural resource management, let me just use it because this is what I have been using from the beginning of my videos, okay? If you chose natural resource management, you can just tell the person or the visa officer that recently there have been lots of illegal mining. I'm just using Ghana as a case study, right? There have been lots of illegal mining in my country, and we know that this is not a good thing for the country's growth. Okay, it brings about pollution, it can kill people, and then it is not even safe for the country, right? So I chose natural resource management because I will have to study in Germany and then look at how Germany has managed its natural resource and bring it to Ghana. Because mind you, gold is a natural resource, diamond is a natural resource. So if they are digging or mining illegally, okay, they are depleting the natural resource. Or for instance, if you work at the Forest Services Division or Environmental Agency or whichever, right? So you can just say that, okay, there is illegal felling of trees in the forest, forest. People have been felling trees indiscriminately, right? So I chose this course because I want to know more about natural resource, and then know how Germany, of course, has managed its natural resource and apply it in my home country upon my completion. So these are some of the tips you should know. If you are doing computer science, okay, you are going to read masters in computer science, or if you are going to read any IT course, okay, and they ask you, why did you choose this course? You can just tell the visa officer, okay, so IT of late has been a top program, okay. All industries or all organizations have been looking for computer scientists or uh, IT genius, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the program, and upon my return, I will want to work maybe with Nestle. You just mentioned in your organization with Nestle, because of late I've seen in a couple of adverts that Nestle needs maybe IT specialists or computer scientist specialists to manage what their data. Okay, so with this in mind, I would like to study in that field and then come and apply it, or look for a job in maybe Nestle or in Guinness, or you just mention one of the top organization. Yeah, so that's also goes for you. Okay, so these are some of the things you should notice. So yeah, then if they can ask you, why did you choose this university? Okay, so you chose the university because when you looked at the category of the university, you found out that maybe it lies in the first three or first five, or maybe when in the first 10 of Germany's university. Yes, and then it is well known. So these are some of the answers you can give to the visa officer. Of course, the visa officer will not ask you all, but there are some key questions that he or she can ask you. Okay, so, well, she can ask you, do you speak German? Okay, so if you have done, for instance, the A1 or A2, you can just tell the visa officer, okay, I have done A1 or A2, and I can introduce myself a little bit in German, but I plan to better it when I get to Germany and move from B1 to B2 and even to C2. All right, these are some of the things you have to just give the visa officer an image about yourself, that you're a very good student and you are very serious about your education. For those of you who haven't done um, the German course, if you go and then she asks you, do you speak German? You can just tell her, no, I do not speak German, but I plan to. Okay, I plan to when I get to Germany, because when I checked the university's website, they offer free German course for international students. And yes, all the schools here, yeah, offer free German course for international students. Okay, so when you get here, you can better or upgrade yourself in that field. She can also ask you, what are your future plans? Okay, so depending on the course that you have chosen, right, your future plan should be clear and simple, right? So I'm just taking the natural resource, for instance. After my completion, I plan on coming back to my home country. Please just tell the visa officer, I plan coming back to Ghana, and upon my return, I would like to set up a consulting firm and then liaise with the Environmental Protection Agency and maybe the Forest Services Division, so that I will give them advices on how to manage our resource. Okay, so you have to be very, very smart, yes, in answering all these questions. So if it is the IT, for instance, you can just tell the visa officer, okay, upon my return, I plan to work in a company. You just mentioned the company, work in so and so company, right? And then maybe I would upgrade myself by doing my PhD. Or if you want to teach in a field, you just tell the visa officer, I will come back and then maybe I'll do my PhD in that area and then lecture in maybe University of Cape Coast, or I will lecture at Legon. So you just give the visa officer a specific thing you want to do. She can also ask you, how will you fund your education? I mean, if you are being sponsored. Well, for scholarship students, of course, the German government will fund your education. So with that, you do not have any problem. But for self-financing students, you just tell the visa officer, okay, my uncle, yes, or my mother, or whichever person who will want to sponsor you, yes, is willing to sponsor me for my education. So from there, they can ask you, now, what does your sponsor do, right? If your sponsor, so let me just give you an example. Maybe my sponsor has a pharmacy. Okay, my sponsor has a pharmacy. Okay, so here the visa officer can ask you, so why don't you work at your sponsor's pharmacy, but you intend going to Germany to study? Now, please, with this question, just tell the visa officer, I am an IT student, or I am going to regional resource management. I do not have any idea in pharmacy, or I do not have any idea in drugs. Yeah, and then you just give them the drug, or people just come and tell you, oh, my head is aching, and then you just give them a drug. You don't have any idea in that field. So please just tell the officer, Madam Visa Officer, I do not have any idea in this field, so I cannot work with my uncle. I will end up killing people if I work with my uncle. And then everybody has his or her passion. This is my passion, and I would like to pursue it. It is not by force to work in your uncle's pharmacy shop. Please. I remember this is what the visa officer asked me when I was at the embassy, and this is exactly what I told her. Okay? So please, just make sure your questions, your answers make sense, right? Yeah. And then they can tell you, name a tourist attraction in Germany and explain why it is famous. Okay, these are petty questions they can ask you. So before you even get to the embassy, you have to know all some of the famous tourist sites in Germany. For instance, you can tell me that you can tell them the Dome. Okay, the Dome is just a huge cathedral situated in the heart of Cologne, right? And then it is famous because it is the highest dome in the whole of Germany, right? Yes, so you can just tell them that. And please, before you get to the embassy, okay, please, all these questions should be at the answer should be at the tip of your mouth, right? You should have practiced them long before, maybe 1 month, 2 months. Just practice with a partner or someone, or a family member, right? So that when the family member asks you, you just respond, right? So when you get there, as soon as the visa officer opens her mouth and asks the question, you know in advance which answer to give the visa officer. Okay, so do not go and stand in front of her and say, and just be standing there for standing's sake, or say just do not knowing which question to answer, right? Please, your sponsor can give you the right amount of money, right? Your documents can be perfect, you can do all the procedure, you can do the German language and get a high score. If you get there and the visa officer asks you one or two questions and you are unable to answer, she can deny you. She can deny you your visa. Answer some of the questions you should know. Now she can also ask you, name some of your course model. You should know your course model, even if you don't know your course model, right? And you have studied in that field in your bachelor's degree. Just name some of the course model in your bachelor's degree, because the visa officer doesn't even know. She doesn't know which courses you studied at your bachelor's degree or the courses you studied, you are about to study in Germany. So just name some of your previous models you did during your bachelor's degree, right? But make sure that you are just ready to answer the question, right? If you go and stand there and you are like, before, I mean, you would like to think in front of her, no, it doesn't go that. She would see that you are not serious. Okay, so once she opens her mouth, you know which answer to give her. Okay, so this is how the interview is, right? So um I would just like to stop here, guys, and I'll bring you another episode of the visa interview. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly do so and like, comment in the comment section, and join the family, right? So, guys, thank you for watching. Cheers.